afternoon, no matter when you are watching this. Welcome to another DPI Presents, where we get the opportunity to interview experts in the field of business. And today we have Renee, who is co-founder of DPI LLC, but also is owner of Renee Scott Insurance. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
DPI Presents on this side. We're in this hat. So tell us a little bit about how long you've been in insurance, a little bit about Renee Scott Insurance.
Well, I always love when we get a chance to be together. So, wow, my insurance career started while we were at the University of Florida. So, I interned with them during my junior year in college, and I have been in the insurance industry now. I think this is year 25. So, I would say it's been quite a fulfilling career.
Wow, I didn't realize when you said started at the University of Florida, did an internship with a company,
Yes,
um,
yes, yes.
remain nameless. Okay, wow. Good to know.
Yeah, that's where it started. I remember my initial hourly payment was $10 an hour. There was an internship in Orlando and it was paying $10 an hour and I was like, I'm there.
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
that's when it all started.
Wow. Well, I really wanted to interview you because as we have started 2025, there is so much that is going on now about the insurance industry in light of just some natural catastrophes that have happened within the past 6 months. So we have the LA fires that continue to burn. We also have the recovery efforts that are happening from the two hurricanes and even more that have hit in the state of Florida. It was Helene, I don't even remember, and Milton, excuse me,
Milton.
Helene and
Mhm.
Milton. And so I wanted to talk to you because we get a lot of questions from our business owners really asking about how do I protect myself? When we saw in the LA fires, and it's not only people's homes that are being that have been destroyed, but also their places of business, businesses that have been owned for generations. And so business owners are really wanting to understand, how do I protect myself? And I thought, what a timely opportunity to be able to talk to you in regards to insurance. So tell us, how can a business owner really protect themselves from this type of natural catastrophes?
So, Rosin, I'm so happy you're thinking about the business owner because that's initially where my heart went is someone who has had a dual loss. They've lost their home, they've lost their business, and just the weight of that. Your first line of defense in any catastrophe is going to be your insurance policy. That's your first line of defense. And the reason why I say that is because it is there to protect you from the unexpected. That's what insurance is for. That's what you pay for. And I know insurance has really not been in the best light, especially in the LA fires. And I do want to kind of shed some light because anytime an insurance company, and I represent several insurance companies, anytime an insurance company makes a decision to non-renew a home, meaning that they have them on the books currently and they're going to not renew that policy, we call it non-renew. So anytime they are going to non-renew a home, based on that state's guidelines, they have so many months notice that they have to give before they are able to just drop a customer because those protections are in place so that no one is just left hanging without one knowledge that they are going to be dropped or non-renewed, and two, giving them sufficient time to find new coverage. So I know there was discussion and talk about companies that were leaving or dropping or non-renewing various homes and businesses that had wildfire exposure out in California. Those are decisions that are typically going to be made at least a year to 18 months in advance of that customer receiving notification. What will typically happen once a state of emergency is declared in a particular state, one of the protections within that state emergency declaration is that any non renewals or any cancellations are basically halted until after the catastrophe. And so even if you have received notification that you're being dropped, it's halted until the area stabilizes. And typically they're going to have you on the books for an additional year. Now, a lot of that won't necessarily make it to the news, but I did want to just share that because your first line of defense is going to be that insurance policy to help you recover from the unexpected. It's important to have conversations on a every 6 month or an annual basis with your insurance agent to make sure you understand what coverages you have, what coverages you don't have, and how with, individuals remodeling, adding pools, or whatever the case may be, making sure that you have adequate coverage. So that's going to be your first line of defense.
Thank you so much. And I want to make sure our audience knows that this information that is being shared is for educational purposes only. Please seek your own guiding policies and governing policies within your state, your city, all of the different municipalities. But thank you for that insight because I know that there had been kind of this feeling that, man, who drops people in the midst of a natural disaster as we've
Mhm.
seen? So thank you for shedding that light. I think you really touched on something about the relationship that you need to have with your insurance agent. You are kind of the go-between, the policy holder as well as the company that you are representing. But then there's also the underwriting that happens in regards to policies. And I
Mhm.
think it's important for you to provide a little clarity on is the conversations that you're talking about, like having every 6 months really talk about the protection that you need. Is it because your agent then becomes the champion for you in front of that underwriter? Talk about that dynamic and relationship that you have with underwriters.
Yes, and underwriters are the ones that make the decision on whether they are going to accept a risk, is what we call it, whether it's your auto or your home or your business. They're the ones that take a look at the facts of where you're located, the exposure that you have to various situations, and they make a determination on whether or not they are going to accept that risk. We have to abide by certain underwriting guidelines. So, for me, as an agent who represents several different insurance companies, I am there to look at what options are available for the customer that I'm trying to place. Right. And I take a look at the underwriting guidelines that are overseeing that particular area, that product, whether it's home or business or auto. And so we are able to have conversations with underwriters, but sometimes there's not anything that we can do. A decision is made, it doesn't fit the guidelines, and so either we can't place coverage with that particular insurance company, or the policy is going to be non-renewed, it's going to be canceled. And so yes, your agent is there to champion on your behalf, but it can only go so far because those underwriting guidelines are pretty much kind of set in stone unless something changes on the back end by the corporate office.
Okay. I feel that many times as business owners, as homeowners, as having your car, it can be frustrating. The journey of insurance can feel frustrating. Um, Tell me why it is so beneficial to work with a company, an agency like yours, where you are able to shop different insurance carriers versus one that only has a set of certain products and services that they are able to provide?
So that's a very good question. And I've sat in the seat of being able on both sides of this spectrum, only offering one particular company, which we call captive. I can only sell their products. And where I am now as an independent broker or agency where we can represent and offer several different options. to the customer. I think what's most important, whether you are with a captive agency or whether you're with an independent agency, and when you think of captives, you think of farmers, you think of State Farm, you think of Allstate, right? And then independent are those that are going to represent other players that are in the insurance market. What's the most important is that you have an agent. A lot of insurance is now bought online, sign on the dotted line. I want to say 60%, I think were some of the last figures that I saw, 60% of insurance quotes are started online. And that can only take you so far. We are here to cover your most important belongings, your home, your auto, your business. You don't want to leave that only to an online landscape. You want to have a conversation with an agent so that you fully understand what is and what is not covered. It's great when you're able to find a better price. However, better price or cheap insurance isn't always the best, especially when you find yourself in a catastrophe, in an accident. That's when you want the most coverage that is available to you. And so, having an agent, whether it's captive, whether it's independent, someone that you can speak with about your coverages is most important.
Mhm. I love that. In fact, I know for you, it's important to be able to educate. You are always on top of providing videos on your social media platforms. And I think that helps someone who's not familiar with insurance or the terminology. You really help them unpack that. So let me ask a question because I know we've had conversations about where we see people have put in claims and they might not get the amount of money that they think that they should receive. And you helped me understand that there are many times there are payouts. So help us understand, if is there anything that we can do to help increase our chances of when we do put in a claim, one, that we're not going to be dropped, but two, we're also going to receive the payment that we need to move forward in our recovery process of our business, our home, or even our auto.
Absolutely. And just because you receive a payment doesn't mean the claim is closed. Because, where my office sits is in the Tampa Bay area. We were hit significantly by Hurricane Helene and Milton within weeks of each other. And several of my customers had to put in claims. And when a catastrophe happens, the insurance companies are trying to be there and get your claims evaluated as soon as possible. Typically, they're going to be using not only staff claims adjusters, but they're also going to be bringing in independent adjusters because they want to get you seen, they want to get your damages evaluated. But just because you receive a check doesn't mean that's the end all be all, that's the only money that you can receive. And typically, there's going to be a little bit of a disclosure that states if you have a contract or a quote or an estimate from a contractor that is more than what is there, you need to make the insurance company aware. So if you put in a claim and you get an estimate and you get a check, that doesn't mean that the claim is closed. There's nothing else that you can do. So just give your adjuster a call, especially I always suggest getting 2 to 3 quotes for someone who is going to be doing the repairs and have that conversation with your claims adjuster. And if you need to, bring your agent in. Have a conversation with your agent because they may be able to speak with a supervisor or a leader of that claims adjuster. So just know that they're there to work with you and not against you.
Thank you so much. This has been incredibly helpful for business owners. Just if you can say, as you look forward into 2025, we know that natural disasters are going to happen. What are the top three things you feel they can do to protect themselves? I know, obviously, we talked about having the insurance policy, no matter
Mhm.
what size of business you have, whether it is home based, you have a brick and mortar, you have equipment, you have inventory to make sure, even if you're a coach or a consultant, that you have insurance. But what, aside from having insurance, what are the top three things business owners can do to make sure there's continuity in their business when a natural disaster occurs?
Yeah, and let's just it's when a natural disaster occurs and not if. I mean, we are in a season of time where we're getting snow in Florida. You're getting snow in Texas. You're getting snow in Louisiana. You're getting flooding, you're wildfires. I mean, it is just unprecedented what we are seeing. And so as business owners, first and foremost, you got to have a continuity plan. You got to have something in place that makes you aware, along with your employees, on what are next steps in the event of an emergency. What happens if we lose power? What happens if we can't go to, especially if you're in a brick and mortar? So the assumption is the business owner already has insurance and they have the proper insurance. So if that's tip number one, and I know you said let's make the assumption, but that's tip number one, because you may have insurance, but is it the right insurance? Because if you've got a general liability policy, that's not going to cover your contents, your computers, your furniture, and things of that nature. So you want to make sure you have the right policy. Secondly, you want to make sure there is a continuity plan. There is something in place, something in writing, something that can be virtually accessed for your team members in the event that something goes wrong. I would highly suggest that you, as a business owner, find out how you are able to run your business if you are to lose power. Maybe it is a Wi-Fi. You and I had a conversation where a customer had lost internet service. It just went out. And so, how are you going to run your business? How are you going to take those payments? How are you going to move forward with answering questions from customers or phone calls from customers? Does that mean that you need to have some type of alternative power source? Alternative internet or Wi-Fi. So those are the conversations that you need to have from a standpoint of a continuity plan, and then those alternate sources for your Wi-Fi as well as your electricity.
Thank you, Renee. Thank you so much for this. This was very helpful. DPI is here and is able to provide continuity plans. We worked and did that with our clients last year. So
Mhm.
we are available for that. You can always visit our website, DPI, the number 2.com. We appreciate you being with us. How can we stay in contact with you? Give us your social media channels and your website. Let us know.
Absolutely, because I do post a lot. We get a lot of questions in our office, and so I do like to kind of make little snippets in videos. And so, on Instagram, you can find us at Renee, which my first name being spelled Renee, is your agent. So that's where we are on Instagram, on Facebook. It's Renee Scott Insurance. And then our website is Renee is your agent.com. And so you can visit us at Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, website, phone, just however you need to get in contact with us, feel free to do so.
Thank you so much to our business owners. We are wishing you a bountiful year of success and new clients. We are here to support your journey of growth. Again, you can reach us at DPI, the number 2.com, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening.